Asparagus is always a pleasure to serve because the presentation is so elegant, while the preparation is so simple. I cook asparagus 3 different ways. I steam it upright, I steam it lying flat, and I roast it in a hot oven. All 3 ways work very, very well, and I'll show you how I do it. When you're choosing asparagus in the store, always look for a very green stalk, a closed tip. You know, asparagus are part of the lily family, and when you look at that, you can really sort of see a lily bud right at the tip. But always make sure that the tip is unblemished and very tight, and that these little points are tightly attached to the stem. If they have deep ridges in the stalk, you know that they've been out of water and cut a long time ago. Also, look at the bottom of the asparagus. See if it's green or dried out. This is a nice, smooth bottom. And cut off a little bit of the bottom, and you can see it's all juicy and nice and smooth. This is a medium type asparagus, and this is a gigantic, thick asparagus. I like this kind of asparagus. I like to make a meal of it. But a lot of people also like the very thin pencil asparagus, which are very popular. But you should choose them the same way that you choose the larger varieties. Always make sure that tip is dry and closed. If it starts to open, you know you have an old asparagus. When you bring the asparagus home from the supermarket or out of the garden, immediately immerse the cut ends into a bowl of water. This keeps the asparagus fresh, and if they are a little tiny bit dry, they will sort of revitalize. To prepare asparagus for cooking, always rinse your asparagus before you cook them. I like to line them up in a row like this and cut them all to the same length. A lot of people say that you can just snap them, and where you snap them is where they're tender, but I find that that's an awful lot of waste. So I'd rather have a little bit of a tough end left on my cooked asparagus than maybe waste a lot of good tender stalk. So what I do is just trim it with a knife. Now these are the jumbos. They look so beautiful, and I'm going to roast these. So I'm just going to cut the end off. Not too much, because these are only 48 hours old. They were shipped from California, and they are so fresh. They're almost as good as home picked. Now, line the asparagus up in one direction on a parchment-covered baking sheet and have the oven preheated to 500 degrees and test them after about 10 minutes. They should take between 10 and 12 minutes to roast perfectly. It's a very nice way to cook the asparagus and very different from what we're used to. This is what the roasted asparagus looks like. The ends get kind of frizzled. The stalks are tender. Just arrange them on your serving plate. This is kind of a new way to cook asparagus, and a lot of people really enjoy the taste. It's different than the steamed asparagus. It has sort of a nutty flavor. And I like to just drizzle a little bit of balsamic vinegar over the asparagus and sprinkle with a little bit of freshly ground black pepper. The second way to cook asparagus is in a frying pan or a skillet with boiling water. You can put a rack in the bottom like this and place the asparagus right on top of the rack. That would be steaming, but you should cover it then. Or, as I do it, I just put these right in the pan full of boiling water, and they come out bright green, tender, and ready to eat. To test the asparagus for doneness, take a spear out, hold it in a towel because it's very hot, and go like that. If it wiggles, it's done. These are all done. Another easy way to cook asparagus is in an asparagus steamer. Again, make the asparagus all the same length, and you stand them up like that. And I found this old-fashioned asparagus steamer at a tag sale. I like it very much. And you put about 2 inches of water in the bottom. It's like a double boiler. But notice that the steamer top has little perforations in it, allowing the steam to get into the asparagus. It's a lovely way to cook them, and they just stand right up in the pot. Cover them and boil them. Check them after about, 5 minutes. They should be done really quickly. The asparagus in this upright steamer look pretty perfect. Yes, they're nice and wavy. Take them out. And I have this old, beautiful Majolica asparagus serving plate. It was made in the early part of this century, and I'm going to serve my asparagus right on it. Just pour them out. If you're going to serve asparagus cold, now is the time to immerse them into iced water. But if you want to serve them hot, now is the time to put them on the table. These look so good like this, with a sprinkling of lemon and salt and freshly ground pepper, or a little bit of hollandaise or mayonnaise or vinaigrette. Your guests will certainly enjoy this, but you don't have to wait for a special occasion. You can enjoy these anytime. Today, my mom is going to help me make a chilled asparagus soup. It's her favorite. You're going to blanch the asparagus tips and
boiling water for a couple minutes.
Add a little salt to that, and I'll just use these stems in the body of the soup because they are not to be thrown away. And the tips are just as a garnish. And I'm cutting up 3 big bunches of pencil asparagus for this soup. It's a very fresh tasting soup and really pretty. And you cut the asparagus, all the bunches, into about 1.5 or 1 1/4 inch pieces for the cooking. There.
Makes a nice green soup, doesn't it?
Yeah, so it's so beautiful and tasty. And with a ham and with hard-boiled eggs and kielbasa and horseradish. You need something that's a little bit mild, I think.
Regular spring menu.
Right. Very, very pretty. So no, right into the iced water, Mom. So it stops the cooking. Really pretty. So here, I'm just going to move the pot. Move the pot over there so I can start cooking the onions. Good. And for the body of the soup, we're going to use 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and we have 2 medium onions. And we're going to saute the onions until they are tender. And then we're going to add to the onions. Here, Ronnie, you can just cook those. We're going to add to the onions the asparagus and the chicken stock. Oh, we need salt. Lots of salt, because the asparagus just seem to eat up
bland
salt.
Vegetables.
Yeah, so like 4 teaspoons of coarse salt. And about 1/2 teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper.
Oh, yeah. Get the pepper.
Okay, there. So that looks good. And we're going to add 6 cups of homemade chicken stock. Now, when I was growing up, Mom, you always made delicious chicken stock.
Because we always had chicken soup.
Right. But you always had great clear stock. And we had soup quite often, didn't we?
Yes. We liked soup, and it was a good staple.
So this is almost to a boil.
Yep.
So here, I'm going to add them right now because I think it is time.
Wow, that's a lot. It's a simple soup, actually.
Oh, it's so simple. Okay, so let that come to a boil, and then we'll cover it. Okay, so for 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, so here we're ready to put these in the blender and make the wonderful puree of asparagus soup. So here we go. So now don't put too much in the blender.
No, because
You don't want
it'll
to.
explode all over the place.
And it's hot too, so you just better be careful. And these ladles I love. Do you have any of these ladles at home? The Chinese soup ladles?
Oh.
They're great. So let's just do it as... Isn't that a great color? It is just what you want. If this were cooked any longer, it just would get to be that gray color that is not beautiful for a soup. Okay? And just do batch after batch. You can just mix that through. Be very careful not to get any of the asparagus pieces into the soup itself.
You know, you don't even have to strain this.
Oh, yes, you do. You really want it to be
Smooth?
smooth. Oh, yes. I think that's what the beautiful part of it is. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. Thank you. And we're going to add this. We have lots already made in our beautiful ironstone tureen. So this soup is either hot or cold or room temperature. And it's served in a large, shallow soup bowl. Here's your one for you, Mom. A couple beautiful asparagus.
We don't add these to the tureen because they only sink to the bottom.
And you wouldn't find them. So I'll just give you a little bit right for now. And a garnish of creme fraiche or sour cream.
Mm-hmm.
Want a little bit?
Oh, a little bit.
What would
That's fine.
asparagus soup be without the sour cream? The perfect asparagus soup with a very beautiful color, and it is great for warm weather entertaining. Thank you very much for helping, Mom.
Oh, my pleasure.
What to have for dinner can always be a challenge. But if you look around you, look at the market and see what's really beautiful, you can make the most delicious meal in a very short period of time. There are certain vegetables that just announce the beginning of a season. And for spring, it's asparagus. Mr. Spear, he's actually a friend of mine out in Stockton, California, sent these amazing asparagus. They are so large and so plump and so tender all at the same time. You just want to have these for supper. So just plan on serving 3 or 4 per person. To make these perfectly, take a vegetable peeler and peel a little bit of the skin. Now rinse these under cold water. In the meantime, for roasting asparagus, and that's how we're going to prepare these, have your baking sheet, like a regular cookie sheet, already preheated in a 350-degree oven. So onto the hot cookie sheet, you can hear them already starting to cook. Just a sprinkling of salt and a little bit of pepper, and then a little bit of very good olive oil, just drizzled. These are going to be served with a very delicious lemony vinaigrette. And now right back into the hot oven. Now asparagus this size are going to take about 20 to 25 minutes. And now to start the rice. This is a rice pilaf, and it is very, very easy. In a medium saucepan, add 1 tablespoon of olive oil. And you should have ready some red pepper. 1 bell pepper would do, 1 red one. And 1/2 of a large white onion, chopped. And 1½ teaspoons of yellow mustard seed. This is the unusual ingredient in the pilaf. I always like to get the onions started cooking before I add the other vegetables, and now I'm adding the pepper. So you cook this for about 3 to 4 minutes. Our vegetables are sweated. And do they smell good? Now add the rice, 2 cups. Add 1 teaspoon of salt and 3 cups of homemade chicken broth. Bring this to a boil. And then we're going to cover it and put it into the same oven, the 350-degree oven, to cook until the liquid is absorbed and the grains are perfectly al dente, just firm to the teeth but cooked through. And now we can start our poaching liquid for the chicken. Okay, we have our bouquet garni, a square of cheesecloth with a tarragon, peppercorns, thyme, and a couple bay leaves. And tie this up with a piece of cord. Use a dry sherry for this, not a sweet sherry. We need 1 cup, and we need 5 cups of water. And 1 stalk of celery. You can break this into the water if you like. And 1/2 of a white onion, coarsely chopped. Now bring this to a boil, and it will be ready for the chicken. And now to start the vinaigrette, and all these things are just about to come to a boil, I want to squeeze juice of 1/2 a lemon I like to mix lemon and vinegar in my lemon vinaigrette. And now add about a tablespoon of white wine vinegar. That's good. And Dijon mustard. We're going to use 2 tablespoons. And this can be stirred up with a little whisk. I always like to whisk my vinaigrettes or shake them in a jar. Now add a little tiny pinch of sugar. That'll counteract the sourness of the lemon juice. Our rice is coming to a boil. Put this right into the oven. And that's going to take 17 minutes. And we're going to use approximately a half a cup of the best olive oil. And this should be a little fine stream. And you see it's not separating. It has a very lovely consistency. It's exactly the way you would like your vinaigrette to be. I'm going to add a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. And now I'm going to chop up my tarragon. You only want the leaves of the tarragon, so if there are any heavy stems, pinch them out. Our poaching liquid is just about to boil. Now I put a lot of tarragon in, and I can't believe I have nothing to do for probably about 12 minutes once I get the chicken in. I'm going to add it now. They're skinless, they're boneless, so we're having 1 per person. Reduce that so that it is gently simmering 10 to 12 minutes. Well, with a few extra minutes that I do have, I'm going to make berry parfaits. I have some beautiful blackberries that looked really great in the market, so I'll start with those. And now some raspberries. I like to just sprinkle with a tiny bit of sugar. And if it's just adults, a little bit of Cointreau or Grand Marnier or some other orange flavored liqueur. And serve these with homemade cookies. You could stick one in the glass or just put a couple on each of the dessert plates. So that too only took a minute or 2 to make. If you want a little bit of mint. Now let's check everything. Our chicken is done. And let's check the rice. Hopefully the rice will have puffed and absorbed all the liquid. And our asparagus. Okay, so now we can assemble our plates. And now I'm just going to drain my chicken on this platter here. Now we're going to give 4 beautiful asparagus and 1 beautiful chicken breast. Drizzle a little bit of the vinaigrette over the chicken and the stems of the asparagus. This and our berries, and you have a dinner that's fit to eat. It's what to have for dinner. You know, in the spring and early summer, asparagus is rather expensive in the grocery stores. But if you learn how to plant and grow your own, you can have crops of asparagus, enough for your whole family, for about 16 to 20 years from one planting. This is how I like to plant asparagus. The magazine shows a slightly different way, but don't worry, they're both just fine. Make sure that the soil is of an average pH. That means between 6.5 and 6.8. But you can balance your soil by the addition of lime. That makes the soil sweeter. And you can also add a little bit of ash from your fireplace. That's very, very good to sweeten the soil. Asparagus like to be planted deeply. The reason is that you don't want to disturb those new shoots by weeding or cultivating. This also permits the crowns to get to a bigger size. So I've dug this trench about 18 inches deep and approximately 18 inches wide. And then in the bottom of the trench, you add 5 inches or 6 inches of a very rich organic matter. This is compost from my compost pile mixed with well-rotted cow manure. This is going to give those asparagus roots that you plant a very, very good home. So in the whole trench, 5 to 6 inches. And then you start to plant your roots. Asparagus roots can be bought mail order or they can be bought at your garden center. They come like this. I've had these soaking overnight so that the roots don't dry out. These are called crowns. Some people call them spiders. This is a very, very well-grown, generously sized asparagus crown. You can see this is where the asparagus will start to send up their shoots. And these deep roots will go down through that rich compost, growing bigger and bigger and bigger until at 5 years of age, this amazing thing. This is a crown, looks like a king's crown of asparagus that's 5 years old. Mr. Spear from Stockton, California sent me this crown and he said it was very rare. Well, indeed, it is a 5-year-old crown, what you hope your crowns will look like in 5 years in a well-planted bed. So this I'm going to plant to see if I get asparagus from this year. Notice that the spears that are emerging from the top of the crown are white. That's because these are under the ground. When they hit the sunlight is when they photosynthesize into those wonderful green asparagus. So I'm going to put this one in just as an experiment and see what I get this year. The one thing about growing asparagus is that you have to have a lot of patience. The roots that I plant this year will grow into ferns the first year, and then the second year will send up little thin shoots. You don't want to pick them the first year or the second year. You can sort of snip 1 or 2 the second year just to get a taste of those extra sweet, extra tender asparagus. But you want to leave them for 2 years before you start to harvest. That gives the roots a chance to really mature and get strong. And never, never cut down those green ferns until after they dry out in the fall. Late fall is best. And then once you plant like this, you lay this in the trench, and I'll do one real small root, the kind that you're going to get when you go to the garden center or mail order, and you plant these approximately 12 to 18 inches apart. If you plant them further apart, you're going to get bigger and more obvious roots like that, and the closer you plant them, the thinner the asparagus spears that you will harvest. Now cover these with 2 inches of topsoil mixed with some more of that good organic matter. This is the soil that we've dug out of the trench. Just 2 inches until you start to see the little fern-like asparagus growing. Then you gradually, as they grow, fill in the trench. By the end of the second year, this trench will be level with the top of the soil in the rest of your garden. When you're planting asparagus, make sure that you choose a spot that is sunny and undisturbed. You have to leave at least 5 feet between asparagus rows, and you don't want to crowd them and you don't want to disturb them. On top of this asparagus bed, I might plant nasturtiums or some shallow herbs like parsley, but I won't do anything that's going to send down deep roots to disturb those crowns. And I'll tell you, for about 16 to 20 years, you will be harvesting asparagus for your family and friends, and you will experience the best tasting vegetable, so sweet and so tender. Even the big fat spears will be able to be eaten all the way down their length. Start with the heaviest of the greens, which is the red radicchio, and arrange that in the bottom of the bowl. Put the prosciutto ham, which has been very thinly sliced, over the radicchio. Now remember how many people you're going to serve. This is going to be for about 5 people since we have 5 poached eggs. Now it's time to make a little dressing. I like to make sure that I have each layer flavored just slightly differently. So I make little amounts of different vinaigrettes. In a little bowl, I will add a balsamic vinegar, a nice aged balsamic vinegar, just a little bit of the vinegar, a little bit of olive oil, and a pinch of salt, pinch of black pepper, and a touch of sugar. I like just a little bit of mustard. That's a Dijon mustard. And lightly sprinkle this around. In the summertime, you could add tomatoes, you could add roasted peppers in these wonderful salads. On top of this, some herb. I'm going to add here a little bit of fresh coriander or cilantro. Let's see how our mushrooms are doing. So I just wanted to get them out of the cooking liquid and then reduce the cooking liquid because you can add that to the salad too. I'm raising the heat a little bit now. Here's the little baby greens, the mesclun salad that comes from the garden. This can be layered on top of the prosciutto. Make sure each leaf is perfect. You don't want any blemished leaves in a salad like this. And on top of this, we will put the asparagus. Now you have no idea when looking at this bowl that there is a layered salad here. That's part of its charm and part of its intrigue. Now, since I'm planning this salad for 5 people, I'm putting 5 generous groupings of asparagus here. And now I'm going to add a little bit of chervil on top of the asparagus. They look very pretty and they're very tasty in a salad like this. And on top of the asparagus, another little vinaigrette, and I think I'll do a little bit of rice wine vinegar. This is a Japanese rice wine vinegar, which is one of my favorites for salads. And here I'm going to use a little canola oil. See, a little salt, a little pepper. Just mix this up. Tastes wonderful. It's delicious on the asparagus, this rice wine. And remember, this salad's going to be served almost immediately because once you put vinegar on a salad, it starts to wilt. You want to get it right away. Now here's a secret for our poached eggs. We're going to layer these on. Take a piece of bread, which is the natural sponge. And here's the time, too, to sort of clean up the egg, the poached egg, when it's on the bread. And now we have our morel. Very lovely. They have such flavor. And the smell is really great. And this is the trouble with these wonderful layered salads. You want to keep adding and adding. A pretty leaf of flat leaf parsley on top of each poached egg. And you have, in one plate, a layered springtime salad. So that was Gene Wilder, and since asparagus is now in season, we're going to show you how to make asparagus 3 different ways. And I want to thank Mr. Spear. There is a company called Mr. Spear out in California, and they sent us all these amazing asparagus. Look at that. Thanks, Mr. Spear. Really gorgeous. Well, who does most of the cooking in your house, Gene?
We share. Karen and I share. If it's something really simple, like a leg of lamb or a roast chicken, or a steak, or the one she likes the best that I do is poulet au vinaigre, vinegar chicken, but with balsamic vinegar.
Yum.
Otherwise, if it has to do with a recipe or anything complicated, she makes it.
How many of you want to learn how to make poulet au vinaigre? Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah, maybe you should come back and show us. Well,
maybe you're lying, too.
Well, I thought I would show you. Now, these are such gorgeous, really big, fat asparagus. And it looks like maybe they would be tough, but they're not. These are so fresh and freshly picked that you really don't have to waste very much, of them. And to make them cook quickly and evenly, you can do this with this. This is a little vegetable peeler. I just take off a little bit.
Top layer?
Just not the whole thing. Just about 5 or 6 strips off the. You can do those if you'd like. Help me out. Of the stem. And then now some people swear by this. You snap the asparagus and you just leave it like that. That takes off the tough part. But I find that these are so tender that I don't like to waste any of the asparagus, so I tend to leave these a little bit longer, and I'll just cut off the ends.
Why snap it?
Well, snap it because it's the natural. It's where the asparagus starts to be tender.
Oh, I
this
see.
This is the tougher part. And then these just go into salted boiling water and just leave them in there until, let me show you how I judge when they're done. I just take one out like this, and you see if they bend. They should really be bending from like the middle down. That one's not quite done, see? Mm-hmm. And you can also test it with the point of a knife like this. And this is just a little resistance, so I think a little bit more. You can throw your asparagus in. You want to snap it and see how it breaks? Yeah, see? But see, that's a big waste, so. That's why I don't do that. That's why I do not do that.
You don't use this at all?
Yeah, you can. I mean, that's why it's good. See, I got it to break there.
Oh,
I forced it to break elsewhere. But let that boil rapidly, and it really does cook very, very quickly. Yep, this can go right in. Now, once they're done, and these should now be done, just take them out gently without marring them and put them right into a bowl of iced water. If you want to serve them hot, they should be served like immediately, just with a hollandaise sauce. Do you like that? Mm-hmm. Or if you want to serve them in a vinaigrette, like a mustardy vinaigrette, chill them in the iced water, drain them well, and this would be just beautiful, dressed with the vinaigrette. You want to taste?
Yeah, I will.
Try one. See what you think of Mr. Spear.
Good.
Isn't that great? Very, very tasty.
Yeah,
and they have, oh sure, you can have all these. There's nothing on them. Now for roasted asparagus, these are roasted. This is so easy too. Just cut the asparagus into about 3-inch lengths. And again, don't take too much of the very end of the stem. These can be put on a tray and drizzled with approximately a tablespoon or so of olive oil. And put this right in a 400-degree oven with salt and pepper. And it's just 15 minutes, and you have these. Now taste these, Gene. See if you like those roasted asparagus.
Yummy.
Which do you like better? You like this one better?
Better.
He likes the roasted better. Okay, we'll remember that. And there, I'll turn that water off. But that's so easy, 15 minutes. And then the salad is so delicious. And this is shaved asparagus. And you can just cut the asparagus into, again, pieces. And you can use a different peeler. For the asparagus, use this black peeler right there. And then just shave this off like this. And this will be a salad. And it's so pretty. And throw those in. We have daikon, carrot, and asparagus. This is white daikon. Yeah, you're going to use all that peelings in here.
Oh, yeah.
And the dressing is so good. It is olive oil, fresh orange juice, like 2 tablespoons of orange juice, about 3 tablespoons of oil, about
Extra virgin olive oil?
Oh, always. I love good olive oil. I think it's just so great. Half a teaspoon of Dijon mustard and white vinegar. This is a very tasty. The orange juice is just such a nice addition to a vinaigrette. And you toss, and you can make this as thick as you like. The olive oil is what makes the dressing thick and creamy. And then
the orange juice does what?
It's flavorful. Wait till you taste. So good. Just toss this. And then you have to taste this for me and tell me what you think. Just taste a piece of asparagus here with the dressing on it. What do you think?
Yummy.
Good. He likes that one too. Oh, good. Well, thanks, Gene. We're back at Tojo's restaurant, where Chef Tojo continues to create mouth-watering innovations. Now, Tojo's going to show us a very local dish using local ingredients, but with his, of course, Japanese expertise. This is local Canadian sable.
Yeah.
Matsuzoki, how do you say that?
Matsutake, pine mushroom.
Pine mushrooms, a voluminous size, grown right here in the Vancouver area. These beautiful sour orange lemon limes.
Yeah, we call it sudachi.
Sutachi, they're very beautiful. Mango and asparagus.
Yes. So, but already here is already, pine mushroom, we must be.
These are beautiful.
Oh, look,
they're gigantic.
It's more flavor come to very close one, more flavor and texture. Open one,
Not so good.
Yeah.
Keep them closed like that so the caps are still part of the stem. All right.
More flavor comes. So I'm going to make this and
this fish this is fresh or smoked?
smoked, special custom smoke.
Oh, delicious. Who smokes?
We have supplier from Vancouver Island. So my friend is a
Smoked over what kind of wood?
This is a cedar.
Cedar wood. It smells amazing.
So I cut this, make it a butterfly for just like here. I cut 4. And here.
Now, sable is one of my favorite fish. It's very dense and flavorful.
Yeah, this fish is very interesting. When you cook it many different way. So I cut this just like it is. 4-way.
So butterflied. Okay. 2 ways.
And
Oh, beautiful.
One more time.
Oh, one more time. 4 ways.
So just like this. So I gave you half
Okay.
here. So you're going to make one more set.
Something about Japanese food that just makes my mouth water, water, water. I want to eat every single thing I see.
So we already here. This is pine mushroom already
Prepared.
marinated.
Yes. Oh, marinated in what?
Soya
Soya.
and Japanese cooking, sake
Okay.
and a little bit salt.
Okay.
So we put this maybe 2 pieces here. So
In the center.
yeah.
Okay.
Then little bit we put this asparagus.
Okay.
Green. Then
Mango again.
mango.
How delicious. So you like mango very much.
Yeah. So we roll, just
Oops.
use a finger. Okay. So
Look at that. Yeah.
then next one very interesting. We wrap is parchment paper.
Parchment,
Parchment paper.
which is available in any cooking store now. Paper made from thinly pressed pine is wrapped inside the parchment paper to add more flavor.
You cut this
Okay.
then we little bit here. Then one more time. Then yeah,
Okay.
beautiful. Then you put the corner just like this. Then
This one goes this way,
yeah, that is a good.
Okay.
thing, Yeah.
like that.
Then yeah. So this one about we cooking is oven 500. Yeah,
Oh, so you put it in the
Yeah,
oven.
we
Not
put it in the
steamed,
oven.
It's in the oven.
oven.
For how long?
We 550 degree to about 10 to 12 minutes.
While this cooks in a very hot oven, our chef, Tojo-san, is going to serve me an omakase menu, which means chef's choice. Our meal consisted of dishes such as wild sockeye salmon sushi, lightly seared albacore tuna, and Tojo's BC roll, as well as those we'd prepared earlier. Stephen Wong is a noted food writer, wine writer, and bon vivant here in Vancouver. He has been eating at this restaurant for many years, and he says, and I quote, that he has rarely tasted the same thing twice at Tojo. Is that true, Stephen?
Absolutely, it's just
Are you
tremendous.
just mind boggled every time you come here at the variety?
Yes, and I also love the way he works. I mean, it's so wonderfully, almost effortless when you watch him doing his work at the
Well, he's a
bar.
creative chef, a creative
Absolutely.
genius. I'm about to open my packet of Canadian sable,
Canadian sable fish.
and
Special smoke.
I want to see what flavor actually was imparted by the paper that was inserted underneath
Yeah.
the piece of fish. Oh, it looks so beautiful.
And the smell.
Oh, the
too.
smell is so fragrant. Oh, it's fantastic. This table is delicious.
Thank you very much.
The mushrooms are fantastic.
Thank
The lime taste is wonderful. Well, here's to you. You are an amazing chef.
Thank you very much.